Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Genesis. Genesis is the name of the first book of the Pentateuch, first 5 books of the Bible, traditionally believed to have been written by Moses. The English adopted the word from the Latin, ultimately derived from the Greek Genesis, gamma nu epsilon sigma iota, meaning origin, creation, from gignos thai, gamma epsilon nu eta theta epsilon, meaning be born. The Greek word was chosen as a literal translation of the Hebrew ber, meaning in the beginning, which are the first 3 words of the text, i.e., in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Both the Greek and Latin words can be traced to the Proto-Indo-European root *gen, meaning to produce, beget, generate, poc. 373. In other words, Genesis is a very old concept of creation. The book of Genesis in the Old Testament narrates God's creation and the origin of his chosen people. As a female given name, Genesis is really quite modern. It is used mainly in the United States. Personality of the girl named Genesis. Romance is the hallmark of the 6 personality. They exude nurturing, loving, and caring energy. 6s are in love with the idea of love in its idealized form, and with their magnetic personalities, they easily draw people toward them. Like the number 2 personality, they seek balance and harmony in their life and the world at large. They are conscientious and service-oriented, and a champion for the underdog. These personalities naturally attract money and are usually surrounded by lovely material objects, but their human relationships are always primary. They thrive in giving back to others rather than being motivated by their own desires. This is when they achieve great things. 6s are natural teachers, ministers, and counselors. Popularity of the girl named Genesis. The usage of Genesis as a female given name is really an American invention. The name didn't appear on the US popularity charts until 1988, so we're talking about 25 years in the making. Obviously a biblically inspired name, Genesis rose to the top 100 list in 2008. The name seems to go with other non-traditional, religious-based names such as Trinity or Nevaeh. Mostly popular with Christian parents, naming daughters Genesis is a new and different way of expressing a strong sense of moral values, and hoping to communicate those ideals onward. Either that, or parents really liked the 80s band bearing the same name. We think Genesis would be a good choice to give to your firstborn, epitomizing the beginning of your own creation. Quick facts on Genesis. Gender, girl. Origin, English. Number of syllables, 3. Ranking popularity, 55. Pronunciation, Jensis. Simple meaning, origin, beginning. Characteristics of Genesis. Sensitive, humanitarian, affectionate, family-oriented, compassionate, community-minded, loving. Cultural references to the baby name Genesis. Historic figures with the name Genesis. Dan was the 5th born son of Jacob by Rachel Euro's slave girl Bilhah. After Leah bore Jacob his first 4 sons, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Rachel got jealous because she was barren. This is why her handmaiden stepped in for her. When Bilhah bore Dan, Rachel said, God has pronounced judgment in my favor, for he has heard my prayer and given me a son. Therefore, she named him Dan, Genesis 30 verse 6. Bilhah's second son was called Naphtali by Rachel. Not to be outdone by her sister, Leah's servant girl, Zelpha, followed with Gad and Asher. Then Leah bore 2 more sons, Issachar and Zabulon. The last 2 sons were Joseph and Benjamin. God finally made Rachel fruitful, and her 2 sons were Jacob's favorites. So where exactly is Dana's place among the 12? Well, we know from Jacob's blessings upon his sons, Genesis 49, that Eden shall achieve justice for his people but he also refers to Dan as a serpenta and a of Ibra. The tribe of Dan was partially located along the Mediterranean Sea north of the Philistines. They were the only Israelites referred to as easy-faring people. In the 8th century BC, The tribe of Dan was Euro, along with 9 other tribes, known as the 10 lost tribes of Israel. After Assyria conquered the kingdom of Israel, either they assimilated, were exiled, or they themselves fled Euro. No definitive historic record is left. Only the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi are said to be the ancestors of all modern Jews. Incidentally, the most well-known Danite, i.e., descendant of Dan, in the Bible was Samson.